Hi, I'm Pamela, and welcome to Green Stick Cottage, where I knit, crochet, and do other yarny things whenever the cats allow me to. So in this yarn tube, I actually have a finish, which is always exciting for me because it seems to happen too rarely. But I did finish the Grand Canyon beanie that I started last time. So this was made with, this is all Red Heart Super Saver, and I also found I found these postcards. So, well, let me give the particulars on this first. That's probably the best thing to do. So the Grand Canyon beanie, it's like I said, Red Heart Super Saver yarns throughout, which is number 4 weight. And I used an H hook, which is a 5mm. I'm starting to remember finally my metrics. And I used warm brown here for the brim, painted desert for these narrow bands here, the painted desert colorway. This one is carrot, this one is dark orchid, and this one is blue suede. And let me put my hand inside here so it'll be a little bit easier to hold it up. And I also have these postcards. So here's the Grand Canyon in postcard form. And I was able to see these colors in the picture. Let's see if I can get it not so glary. And so not only do the colors match the photo on my project bag that I'm using for a different project now, but they match the postcard pretty well. Even the blue suede I can see, but I don't know, I'd have to put it closer maybe. You can kind of see the blue suede in there too. So I was real happy with that. So I'm going to write a note to the recipient on this postcard explaining how I decided to make this beanie in these colors. And I also have a postcard of the painted desert. So that colorway is represented as well. So I tend to pick these up, these postcards at the stores to send to my grandchildren. So these, so that was why I had these. I was real excited. It's like, oh, I actually have one of the Grand Canyon. So that's the Grand Canyon beanie, all done. So hopefully that will go out in the mail tomorrow, barring any unforeseen circumstances. My daughter takes me to town weekly, and so I should be able to get that done, I hope, as long as none of the children get sick or car trouble or anything like that. Now, so that's my one finish. I'm getting close to a finish on one of my whips, which is the octopus hat. So let me try to secure my place here. And he has all of his, here he is with his big googly eyes. I love those eyes. And he has all of his tentacles on him now. So that you start off with 16 essentially, but then the next step is the edging. And I started here at the center back, and that's when you join the orange, in this case orange top side, to my gray underside that has the little popcorns on there. So I have one tentacle fully joined here, and I modified the pattern a little bit on this. I wanted it to be kind of pointier at the end, so it's just single crochet around here, and so I've started on the second tentacle with the edging here. I'm using brown for the edging, and so when I got to the end, instead of crocheting down here at the bottom, I did, there's 3 stitches at the end here. I did a half double crochet, half double crochet to make it just a little bit pointier. It's not much, but it was better than being totally straight across with the single crochets, I thought. It's kind of a rounded point, but anyway, so eventually all of the tentacles will look like this one. But so far I've only made it to here. And so you go around each tentacle, and then you go across the forehead area, and then I'll be going across, let's see, I'm coming this way, so yeah. So then I'll go across the forehead and then catch these 4 tentacles over here and meet back here in the middle. I also did, for the last single crochet on the one tentacle and the first single crochet on the other tentacle, I did a single crochet 2 together to make that a little bit smoother, not as bulky right here where they meet. So hopefully that will get finished. Well, the plan is to get it finished so I can mail this next week, so a week from now, well, a week from tomorrow, so, and get there for my grandson's birthday. So that's where that is. And this, I've made this out of, this is all Mainstays number 4 weight, and Mainstays is so easy because all the they don't have a big color selection, but they're always easy to remember: orange, yellow, black, gray, and brown for the edging. So those are the colors for that. And so this one I'm using for this one, it's an eye hook, which is a 5.5 millimeters. And yeah, once that edging is done, it's done. So hopefully this will be a finish. Hopefully I can get another video in before I mail it off so you can actually see what it looks like. So yeah, I guess I need to get it done even earlier so that I can do that and show the actual finished product. Okay, next we have another whip, long time whip here since the end of March, and this is my Lizzie blanket, and this is, I marked it this time. Let's see if I can find my mark. That's the problem. Is trying to find, where did I mark it? Where did I mark it? I have no idea, so I have lost my place. I need to get, like bigger stitch markers. Oh, here it is. I need to get bigger, more prominent stitch markers so I can at least be able to show that better. But this marker here, the purple one, is the one I'm trying to remember to use. So this is at the end of the kitty section, which is the 4th section, and I have come this far from here to here for the Lydia section, and that's the 5th and final section. So I've done there are 150 rows in this blanket, and so I'm on, I think I made it to let me double check. Yeah, 130. So this was row 130. So I have 20 rows to go to finish the length of the blanket. And then I will be able to start on the envelope border, is what it is, that will take care of all of these ends. Now this is going very, very slowly. My Lizzie is, because I can only handle 1 row a day on it because it is so hot. and it's just, there's no way I can hold it no matter how small I fold it, and I just can't. It's even hot in my hands. It feels hot in my hands. Even if I like set it next to me and then just try to hold this one section that I'm working on, it's just too hot with just a window air conditioner. And so it's, today it's only 109, so that's a blessing because it's been higher than that in the past few days. So yeah. So I'm thinking that blankets are really more of a winter activity that I should focus, maybe fall, winter, spring, and then by the time it's summer, put them into hibernation. But I'm so close to the end of this that I'm just going to keep plugging away one row a day. I don't know. I miss days though when I'm away from the house because I'm sure not going to take it along. Okay, and that one I'm using for Lizzie. I'm using Joann's Big Twist Value in quite a large color range. I'm using an H-hook 5 millimeters, and Big Twist Value is a number 4 weight yarn, and I am using these colors. I'm using 15 colors. This is not the color scheme that Anya at Ophelia Talks, the designer. This is not the color scheme she used, but I did take my colors and match well, I didn't really match them. They're totally different colors. I paired like her gold is my grape. So I followed her color order as long as it, translated. It's kind of like I translated her colors into my colors and then still followed the same order. So my colors are grape, watermelon, purple, medium rose, sapphire, plum, light rose, eggplant, magenta, sky blue, lilac, hot pink, soft purple, cosmetic pink, and varsity blue. So those are all the colors you're seeing in that blanket. And so they're just, but they're in the, they're in a consistent order like her colors, though they're not the same colors, if that makes any sense. And so little by little, I will complete the Lizzie blanket. And my other whip is the knitted, I'm calling this the cotton yak top because, let me get the picture out here. I should have gotten that out already. Because down here it says cotton yak because that's the yarn they used. And I think it is I can't remember the company. Oh well, anyway. So I call that the cotton yak top. And it's very textured, very pretty. And I'm using Mainstays 100% cotton for my version in opaline green. And I have finished, I've been working on the back. Let's see, which is the front? Okay, so here's the front. And I have been working, I did mark my spot from the last time. Let me move the row counter out of the way. So the last time I was here, so I think I've added 12 rows since then. And this is a 42 row pattern repeat after the bottom ribbing. And so I finished row 42. So I'm ready to start my first repeat of that 42 rows. And so this is what I'm doing for Connie at Just Another Stitch for her weight loss make-along. I'm making it, my measurements at the time I started it were in between. This only has 4 sizes and the sizes are just named A, B, C, and D. And I was between, when I started it, I was between B and C, so I chose size B. So we'll see whenever I finish it. It is 100% cotton, so if it ends up being a little loose, I can, try to shrink it, but it tends to shrink vertically rather than horizontally, I think cotton does. At least that's what the couple of ladies at the knitting group were telling me. So I want to make sure to make it extra long. I want to make the sleeves longer than the in the picture too. I like elbow length, at least elbow length sleeves. So so we'll see. But I'm trying to work a little bit. I'm trying to do 5 rows every time I work on it. So and that's hopefully going to be at least once a week at knitting group. And I've been using my magnet board and easel to do that, to follow the chart, and that has made it go much faster. So I'm very pleased with that, and I'm glad it finally occurred to me to do that. But anyway, that's where we're at on the cotton yak top. And so that's that. And I'm using US 6 needles, which are 4 millimeter. And like I said, the mainstay is 100% cotton. And so that's it. Now, last time, I don't remember how long ago it was, I was working on using my plarn for a filet crochet unicorn. It was way too big. Especially I was using an L hook, which is 8 millimeters. So I tore that out, or I ripped that out, and amazingly, not only did it come apart easily, unravel easily, but the individual joins also came apart. So I was able to redo all my balls by color. So here's the gray, here's one that's white with green, and so those are all the same. This one is white with more red and black, no green. So I separated that into a separate ball. And then I had just, there's some brown or tan or whatever. So that's the 4th color. And then I had a little bit of gray with green. So it didn't really match the gray with blue. So I did it separately. I think there was only 1 bag's worth of this one. And then I had a couple of bags that were clear. So I did them separately. And so now all my plarn plastic yarn is separated according to color. And I looked for a new project because I want to do the filet crochet unicorn in size 10 crochet thread. So that will be coming up in the future. So instead I looked for patterns for bulky yarn, and I found this, hopefully I can get the picture up here. It's an organizer caddy, and it has 8 canisters on it with a handle, and I figured, well, that'll always come in handy. So I started the center canister and or cup, I'm not sure what to call it. And so I'm using the gray, the big ball of gray, because this was my biggest ball. So I decided to use it for the center canister, which is the biggest one. And it's only going to be this diameter, because I did the first 5 rounds, and the next round is going to be the back loop only, where you're starting to go upwards. And so we'll see how that turns out. And I may just go on with this color until the ball runs out. because there's seven smaller canisters that go around this one, or I might change them up and do different ones. I don't know, but I think I'll see how long this one lasts. I consider this whole Plarn thing to be an experiment. So if I screw it up, it's not that big of a deal, and I'll just be learning all along the way, I hope. So that is the Plarn project. That's the state of the Plarn experiment at this point in time. Is this much is done. And it's worked in continuous rounds, so that's why I mark the last stitch on every round to keep track of where I am. So that's where that is. And then I have, and for that, what am I using? What hook am I using with that? I went down in size because I want these canisters to be nice and stiff. And there it is. Let's see. It's a J, 6.0 millimeters J. So instead of using the L like I was doing before, I'm using a J. And it's a little bit, again, I'm probably only going to do 5 rounds a day because it is awkward because I'm not used to working with Plarn, and I'm trying to make it tight, so I don't want it to get too hard on my hand. All right, and then here's my next experiment. Here's my next experimental recycling thing. I finally made some t-shirt yarn. So this is one gray t-shirt, and I got this much yarn out of it. And the reason I did that is because of the tutorial that I found. I refound this tutorial, which I'm so happy I did, because I think the channel is Sustain My Crafting Habit or something like that. But I'll include the link to the tutorial because she uses more of the t-shirt than I've seen anybody else use. She uses not only the main part under the arms, the tube basically under the arms. She uses the chest and the back and the sleeves, and the collar like this gets cut off, and some seams. But even some seams are included in here. You could probably see that, but when you work up the yarn, it probably won't show, I hope. But again, this is an experiment, and I use a different join than she does. I use she ties the strands together that aren't already connected to each other. I use the same join that I use with fabric yarn I make out of fabric strips, which is the same join I use on the Plarn, essentially, but it's a little bit different with the fabric strips and with these t-shirt strips. But I cut a little slit in the end here. Sometimes I'll have to show that when it's in progress. But I come back a little ways from the end of the yarn, and I come down and make just a tiny little notch slit right there with the scissors. And the same thing with the one that I'm going to attach. And then I loop them around and then thread it back through, the newly attached one. And then I pull them. Let's see if I can show where this one got attached. Let's see. Well, this is apparently a long one, so maybe it's not going to show up readily. But you can still see, some seams right there. Little tiny bits of seams here and there. That was the underarm sleeve, I think. Or underarm seam on the sleeve. And I have a part here where I cut a little too close, so I don't know if that's going to hold. I might have to cut that out and reattach. But here's an attachment. So you can kind of see it if I pull it apart. There's a slit in each end here. and you just kind of put those together and then go like that. And so when you crochet it, you can kind of cover all this, you know, these little tails hanging off, you can cover those up, or you can clip them a little smaller. So but again, I'll see how it all works out, because what I'm planning on making with this, and I'm gonna have to do it like kind of like I started with the Plarn, where I'm just gonna, whatever I end up with is what goes on the project next, so without any color planning really. But I'm gonna make this, it's called, I think it's called Moses Basket Bag. And I've been talking, I forgot to bring the doll in here again. I've been talking about my life-size baby doll, and so I want her to have a home, so I want to make that Moses basket bag. I'll try to put a picture of it over here and include the pattern. And it's not made for this type of yarn, so I'll have to play a lot with the pattern to get it to match the size of the doll. And but I like the way it works as a basket, and then it has a thing that folds over, and you can make it into a drawstring bag as well, so you can carry the baby along if you need to, the baby doll. Definitely not a real baby. None of this is for real babies, so safety warning. So I've also come across some more. This is a shirt that's too big, and I don't like necks higher than this. Even this is kind of too much, but this is a mock turtleneck, I guess. And so I'm going to, this will probably be my next one. It's gray as well. And then I came across this one, which is not donatable. I don't consider it donatable because it is kind of yellowed and it just doesn't look nice, you know. So, but if I cut off again, the collar's too high, too big for me. And it's interesting because it's ribbed. You can see that. So I want to experiment with this and see what kind of t-shirt yarn. It is 100% cotton, and see what kind of, this is supposed to be white, but like I said, it's kind of yellow. And see what I can come up with and how this ribbed fabric works with the, you know, more standard t-shirt fabric. And this shirt, this gray shirt, is thicker than the gray t-shirt I already did. So I'm going to experiment with different things like that and see what kind of yarns I come up with. And I don't know, I'll have to experiment with this to know what kind of hook I'm going to use that looks like it'll make a sturdy basket. So I'll experiment with that and see what I come up with. So those are all my whips and new starts. The Plarn is a new start, I guess you could say. And so my plans are, when I finish the octopus hat, when that's completely done, I'm going to go ahead and start on the kids' fedora, and for my next grandchild birthday. And I got Red Heart Super Saver number 4 weight in gray heather, which I thought that would make a really great color for the hat, for a fedora. And there's a part for like a band or a, you know, well, I'll try to show the picture over here, where it looks like a band, but I think it's crocheted in. I don't think it's attached later. And I'm not sure. I'm thinking black. I'm thinking I'll make that part black, but I'll see once I get started on it. So hopefully next week I'll have this started, and that's where I'm at. I'm trying to keep myself restrained from working on so many things at once. So this is a big enough load for now. So that's what I'm working on, and I will get back to you again when I get enough to show next time. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.